Welcome back, and thank you for joining me on this installment of the Juggernaut. I realize it's been a couple of weeks since we met last, but with all of the free agency and trades going on in the NFL, I kind of just took some time to sort of process everything, decompress, and really just kind of take a step back and make some assessments on how that may affect the 2015 fantasy season. In particular, some of the players you may be thinking about drafting for your team next year. So, these next few segments that I'm going to be doing, I'd like to highlight running backs. Primarily take a look at one or two of them per day. Today we're going to be talking Marshawn Lynch. All right, just signed a new 3-year contract with Seattle. He's going to be 29 the start of the season, so he's going to be there for a few more years. Now, obviously, big trade between Seattle and New Orleans. Jimmy Graham going up to the Seahawks, and they gave up Max Unger, their starting center. So that move in particular, I think, will hurt Marshawn Lynch's fantasy value in a couple of different ways. All right, number one, first off, in regards to losing Max Unger. All right, believe it or not, he actually did miss 10 games this past season with injury. All right, but so in the 6 games that Max Unger did play, all right, those 6 games accounted for more than 50% of Marshawn Lynch's total fantasy output. All right, he had 10 total touchdowns and 128 points in the 6 games that Unger did play. In the 10 games that he did not play, his production fell off big time, and he also went 6 games with 0 rushing touchdowns in that stretch of time. All right, so huge discrepancy there. Over the last 4 seasons, I looked up since 2011. All right, the last 4 years, Marshawn Lynch has pretty much averaged about 325 touches per year for just over 1,600 yards. So I see those numbers coming down, maybe about 10 to 15% drop-off from where he's been at, on those averages. I've got him for about 295 touches, just shy of 1,400 yards this season. All right, they're going to lose a little bit of effectiveness with Unger being gone. He's the center, he's the anchor of that offensive line. So much of their blocking scheme surrounds that position that I think they're just going to have to peel him back a little bit. And also, the last 3 years, they have given him the ball less each year. 2012, 315 carries. 2013, he had 301, and this past season, 280 carries. So I think that's, a downward trend that we're going to see more of, especially with younger guys like Robert Turbin and Christine Michael that are in the fray now. These younger guys are trying to bring up. Turbin, this is the last year of his contract right now. He'll be a free agent in 2016. I think we're going to expect to see him kind of spell Lynch, especially between the 40s. He's a good third down back, and I believe that when he does get the ball and has an opportunity, he's going to try to make the most of it, knowing that, he's got a big payday coming up as a free agent potentially next offseason. So he's probably really going to be gunning to look to be as productive as possible this coming year. And that being said, I just really don't see Lynch having quite the numbers, on as far as yardage and touches due to Unger being out of the lineup. All right, and then the second half of that, we're looking at Jimmy Graham. I mean, the guy's a total monster. The last few years, Marshawn Lynch, Dez Bryant, Jimmy Graham, there's your top 3 guys for red zone touchdowns in the NFL. All right, so he's totally going to cut into some of Lynch's numbers there. Down low, I mean, I'd say at least half of his looks are going to go to Jimmy Graham. You take a look at that play that ended the Super Bowl. I think that alone affected the Seahawks making the decision to bring him in. Just, that very play could have made the difference for him if they had a guy like Jimmy Graham. So, Marshawn Lynch did have a career-high 17 touchdowns last season, as well as a career-high 37 catches and 4 receiving touchdowns. So those numbers in particular, as far as fantasy points production, I see them dropping off significantly, quite a bit, just because they're going to have another guy to go to and look for on some of those little screens or play action passes or things down low that are going to just take some TDs away from Marshawn Lynch. All right, so that all being said, he did finish 3rd amongst running backs in 2014, had 253 points. I do see that dropping down. I've got him for about 195 points this season is where I have him projected at. So I'd still say he's right around a 7th or 8th pick for running backs. He's not quite a top 5 back, but definitely still worthy of a first-round pick. anywhere, late first round, early second round. So if you're a guy that's going to be sitting somewhere from that, 7 through 10 draft position in a regular standard 10-team league, I definitely expect to see Lynch falling to you. He's going to still be a good pickup, probably going to be in beast mode a good amount of the season. I definitely would be anticipating seeing his numbers drop off, and being closer to a top 10 back rather than a top 5 back. All right, so that's all I have to say on that. I hope you like my analysis and evaluation of him there. Like I said, more running backs coming, so look forward to Marshawn Lynch, the entire Eagles backfield, DeMarco Murray, Darren Sproles. I have a bold prediction on that one, and also some other things from Darren McFadden. All right, so that's all for the Juggernaut today. We will see you next time. Thanks.